Hello, I'm Hulbert and welcome to Learn and Love Music. Today we're going to be looking at two different types of pianos, keyboards. The wonderful grand piano or the electronic keyboard. Both have wonderful qualities, but we're going to find out which one might work for you. But first of all, I want to encourage all of you to subscribe and like Learn and Love Music. So, let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the size. These two instruments are identical in their number of keys. 88 keys here, 88 keys with this instrument. And that's important because even if you have an electronic keyboard, you want to be able to play anything you might need to play that you could play on this instrument. Also, we have to look at portability. We know that this would be quite costly to move it somewhere. This is easy to carry from place to place. This instrument is 6 feet long, and we also, sometimes you'll run into instruments that are upright pianos. Upright pianos are similar to these except for the strings go up and down. Upright pianos also are difficult to move. This piano is not difficult to move, and that's the advantage. Point number two, the feel of the keys, the touch. In this instrument, in order to play with a light touch, you really have to control your fingers because it's not very consistent. But on this piano, I find that it's difficult to keep control because the touch is not always even. But on this instrument, you have these keys are weighted, they're very regulated, you have a lot better control with this instrument. There also are, I find that sometimes if you have to play very slowly on this instrument, you can play beautifully. But whenever you have to play fast, let's say you try to play a Chopin etude, it just is sloppy compared with the control that you might get from this instrument. It's much to the advantage with this instrument. But with practice, you can use a touch that's a little bit heavier on the controls here, and you can get by okay, as long as it's not like playing a piano concerto or a full recital or anything like that. Tied in with the previous one, number three, creating sound. On this instrument, you do not create the sound. The instrument is electronic. When I push a note down, it creates the sound. So there is some touch control, but not a lot. Dynamics are really, really hard to control on this instrument. Obviously on the piano, I can go from playing something really very soft, or the touches can be controlled very, very easily. So that's a bit of a disadvantage with this instrument. But the quality is much higher level here, but this will work out in a pinch. Another thing to keep in mind is you can't control the voicing. In other words, bring out the melody and keep the accompaniment softer. It always ends up being the same on this keyboard. With the piano keyboard, you can control the voicing so the accompaniment is very, very quiet and the melody sings out. So that's a bit of a disadvantage, obviously, with keyboard. However, you can get many different kinds of voices with this instrument. You can create the sound of a clarinet or a string quartet, or any kind of, you can do jazz voices, you can do harpsichord, so that's an advantage to this instrument. Number four, the cost. We all know that a piano like this is worth a lot of money. If you bought a piano like this brand new, it would be probably about $80,000. Just a sidebar on cost. With an instrument like this instrument I bought for less than $20,000. It's a used piano. It's a 1929 Steinway. It was in very good condition. So you can really shave off the price if you're willing to have a piano that is used piano, because sometimes people are getting rid of them, and if you do a little work on them, have some rebuilding work or some voicing or things like that, a piano you can have a $20,000 piano that's worth $80,000. With this instrument, you can buy one of these for about $200 used, or you can buy it about $800 new. And a lot of people have these and then they want to get rid of them. So it might be, even if you spend $400, $500 on them, you can get something that's in really good condition and can serve your purposes well. Also, make sure you look in your newspaper or online, and a lot of times people are giving away pianos for free. And especially an upright piano, you could even find a pretty good piano that plays well. You can get it for free as long as you pay for the movie. I prefer Steinway pianos. It's a wonderful, wonderful instrument. Steinway also makes a model called Boston, which are kind of a junior type of Steinway, also excellent pianos. They are quite costly. But even with upright pianos, I've found that you can get really good pianos. Know that the Baldwin and the Hamilton name is very good. Somers are excellent piano. There are a lot of older pianos. I had an Iverson Pond piano growing up. That's an old company. It doesn't even exist anymore. But a lot of the quality instruments, upright pianos, were built probably in the 1930s and 40s and 50s. So there are some really good instruments out there. And make sure that you hire a good tuner too, somebody who can get it in tune. You also might want to have a tuner check out the piano for you if you're spending money on a piano, because they can let you know. Sometimes you even find old pianos that work really well, but they can't be tuned because the strings are rusted or something like that. So make sure you do your homework ahead of time. The last item is purpose. What are you going to be using your piano or keyboard for? Obviously, if you're going to use it in a recital situation, you want to have an acoustic piano, a piano that has a real sound. But I use this instrument a lot for composing, especially since you can pick on different voices, you can add different instruments to the sound, know what a violin part might sound like or a clarinet part. And it is nice to have this available. Let's say, for example, if you have to accompany somebody. I once had to accompany a group of, we did a program at a school, elementary school, and believe it or not, they didn't have a piano in the school. So I had to bring this piano in. The kids loved it. They loved the presentation we did. It was just some children's piece, nothing really difficult, but this is where an instrument like this is a great asset. Also, if you like to improvise, you want to set up a jazz line, maybe set up a drum beat with your improvisation, this is the instrument to have. I can't set up a drum beat with this piano at all because you need to have a real drum set in order to help out if you're going to play a jazz trio. But with this, you can do it all at the keyboard, and it's a fun instrument to have. I think both of them are important to have. I know that a lot of purists will say you only need to have the Steinway grand piano, but I like this instrument just for the versatility that it offers a pianist. The purpose of this piano is to create a beautiful tone, learn how to get a touch, different types of styles, different touches, how to use the pedals beautifully. This instrument has so much variety in it. Not the kind of variety that you'd have in this instrument with the voices, but with the control and touch, it is amazing what you can do with this instrument. The bottom line depends on what you have. If you don't have a lot of space, you don't have a lot of money, this is a great opportunity for you to learn music. There are times when you need to have headphones on, be alone, work on some jazz things, work on some composition and such. But this piano cannot be replaced in terms of the beauty and the power and just the joy that it brings you. So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Learn and Love Music. And as a closing piece, I'm going to show you what a Steinway grand piano can do. Let's listen to some Rachmaninoff.
We'll see you next time on Learn and Love Music.